is toDIYfor, and I cannot be the only person who just has a ton of grocery bags stuffed into some cupboard somewhere that I never ever use. So I decided to repurpose them into the DIY today. I also used a couple of old t-shirts as well to make the stool. So let me show you how I did that. To start this project, we need to make some t-shirt yarn. So grab the largest t-shirts that you can find. You'll need a rotary cutter, a pair of scissors. You'll also need a cutting board, and you'll want some needle and thread. So I'm folding my t-shirt in half here, and you're leaving about an inch there along the top, so not folded completely in half, and then trim off that bottom hem. And then we're going to go ahead and create about 1 inch cuts all the way up the t-shirt, but not all the way through both layers. So I'm cutting just past that first layer, but not into the second layer. So you can work your way all the way up to about the armpits of the t-shirt, fold back all of those pieces of fabric, and as you can see, we haven't cut through this last piece here. It's really key that you don't cut through that, because otherwise you're not going to have a continuous piece of fabric to create your yarn. So you're going to create the yarn by making this diagonal cut here, down from one side up to the next. So it's got to be the lower side up to the higher side, and you're going to go ahead and create those diagonal cuts all the way along the length of that fold. And when you're all done, you've got this long piece of fabric. So just to finish off our yarn, pull it all tight, and that gets rid of any edges and kind of curls it in and makes it really look like a yarn. So I did that with 3 different t-shirts. Again, extra large is the best, so you have the most material to work with here. And then you can tie those 3 strands together, and we're going to start braiding. So this is kind of where I ran into a bit of a snag. If you've ever braided with really long fabric strands, whatever, it's really hard and things get tangled very easily. So what I ended up doing was cutting my yarn and tying it back together. And I cut it and I tied it back together. I had to do this multiple times because this was such a long braid by the time I was done it, that it was unfortunate. The knots kind of yeah, they don't make the braid nearly as nice, but this honestly was the only way that I could figure out how to do it, and I don't really actually think it looked all that bad when I was done. Once you're done braiding, you can go back to the t-shirt material that we have yet to use. We're going to salvage as much material as we can from it, so cutting off the collar and also the sleeves. Then we're left with 4 pieces of fabric, so 1 blue and 1 white are going to be sewn together. These are the good sides facing in, and I'm just lining them up with some pins, and we're going to stitch along that side. So do that with both pieces of your fabric, and then we're just stitching those together separately. So then when you're all done, of course, it's just a simple stitch here, and you can see we'll have a nice seam there for our stool. Then you can go ahead and stitch both of those pieces together. You'll want to line up the white with the white and the blue with the blue. And again, this is good sides fabric facing in. So once you've stitched all of that, you essentially have a cylinder now for the base of our stool. I picked up these circular placemats from the dollar store as a base for my stool, and now I'm just hot gluing the t-shirt material to that placemat. So as you can see, this is the bad side, and I'm rolling it under and actually gluing the bad side of the fabric to the placemat just with some hot glue. And just a way to make sure that you have enough material to go around the outside, you're going to want to make sure that the width of your fabric is the same diameter of the circle. So as you can see, once I flip that inside out, the fabric is just glued there to the bottom. We have no seams showing, and it looks nice and clean. Okay, so look at all these bags I have. I know, it's disgusting. My collection is absurd. So I am using bags to stuff my stool with. That's simply just because I had them. I thought it was a great extra use for them. You can definitely go out and buy some stuffing that you would use, say, for a pillow and stuff yours. Once you've got it stuffed, we are going to need to make our topper. So this is where the second placemat comes into play and all of that braided fabric. I'm just hot gluing it to the placemat in a spiral formation. Just thought that this would be a little bit more sturdy than just simply stitching that together. So that's what I opted to do. Once you've finished gluing it together, make sure you leave that tail attached. You don't want to cut it off just yet. So we can flop this on top of our stool. I honestly put about 200 bags in there. I thought it was going to be bigger, so if you're going to do it with bags, make sure you have a lot. Again, using my hot glue gun there to glue part of it down. It wasn't sticking as well as I wanted it to, so I took some needle and thread, threw in some stitches, and don't worry, all of this is going to get covered up because we kept that extra long tail. So I just took the rest of the braided material and wrapped it around to finish off the edge, cover up any of my mistakes. And then when you've wrapped it around as much as you want, you can put a few stitches there in the end just so it doesn't unravel. Trim off that extra tail, and again, go back with your hot glue gun and kind of tuck that underneath one of the braids, and your stool is all done. So it's a great way to empty out that cupboard that is just overflowing and exploding with plastic bags right now, because everybody has one. I know you do. Don't lie to yourself. So empty it out and make yourself a nice little footstool. Or it could be even a little seat for a child's bedroom. I'd love to see what it looks like when you're done. Send me some photos. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Janelle Steeper. And then use the hashtag toDIYfor if you're going to tag me in any of those photos. If you enjoyed this DIY, let me know. Give me a like and be sure to subscribe, because next Wednesday I'll be back with a new DIY. Cheers! Damn it. What? I don't know what I'm saying.